good evening, good afternoon. I'm Ruth Carter, Liberty Coach, and I'm here this evening with a special Parenting Live. I hope you are all doing well. It is that November month where the season is very much darkened, but I hope that you have something joyful in your life to be about, even though we're in a lockdown, a national one that ends next week. Woohoo! I am very hopeful that, our tier, our area is in a tier where we can get to mingle, because I know it's very hard and challenging. And this is why I want to have this discussion tonight on how important is family connection to you. And I do have a wonderful guest, of which I'd love you to welcome them on. And I'd just like to say good evening to Carol, who is viewing. I hope you're well. And also, if Alfie's about, or if he hasn't gone to bed yet, happy birthday, Alfie. I hope he's had a wonderful day. Thank you, Carol, for letting me know your current situation. And I just hope that you're all doing well. So with that, I'm going to bring in a special guest so that we can have a conversation. Welcome, Adam. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you
Oh,
guys?
lovely to be here. Thank you for joining me on my platform.
Thank you for
So
having me.
today's topic is on about family connection, and you could be
hmm
asking, why am I having this conversation with this lovely gentleman? Well,
hmm
this lovely man is a family member. He is my first cousin. He is. You're the youngest. No, you're not the youngest.
No,
You're not the
Lavar's
youngest.
the youngest.
You were at one point, but
I
no
was
longer
the
the youngest.
youngest, and
And you
then
are the
Dad carry
second
on.
son. Is that right?
Hmm?
Are you the second son?
Yeah, second.
Right. So he's the second son to my Uncle Bernard, who sadly passed away, I think over 16 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah. So, and your uncle is my mum's youngest brother. And I don't know if I told you, I wrote my mum and dad's story.
Tell
I
me.
mentioned your dad in there because he left Jamaica with
hmm
our grandmother when he was a baby. That's how he
Yeah.
ended up coming to the UK. And my mum was left behind with Aunt Millie and some of the other family members. So today it is a topic where we are in the lockdown, and we're having this discussion on how important is family connection. Now, Adam, you're in Amsterdam currently at the moment, but you
I
have
am. Yeah.
family here in the UK. How has it been for you?
I was just talking about that with my fiance just a minute ago. Funny enough, because she just got home about 2 hours ago, and she just says it's so nice just to come in and just to see the family, see me, see the kids. It makes a whole difference. It makes a big, big difference. The only downside for me is that I haven't seen my mum the whole year. My mum hasn't seen her grandchildren as well. She's only seen Levi once, and was one in June. So she saw him last year, just after he was born,
Mm.
and that's it because of lockdown. And as you know, obviously, we were going to do a big family thing this year. We were
Yeah.
all going to meet up, and that's the reason I wanted to do it, really, just to get the family closer. Because obviously my kids are out here, but they've got so much family that they don't know, in Hitchin, in Luton, London, everywhere, all over
Birmingham,
the UK. Birmingham, yeah, Brom,
Nottingham.
Nottingham,
We go
everywhere.
abroad, you know what I mean? Canada, USA.
So
We
yeah,
like,
so for me, the lockdown's been all right. It's been quite nice. It's just having more time with the kids, which is always nice. Obviously, there's always downsides to everything, but you have to just keep your mind positive and keep thinking about the good stuff, you know.
and that's what it's about. It is focusing on the positives, and I
Yeah,
do believe that family connections can bring about those positive experiences. It's just I work in an industry where families are breaking down, like especially with teenage years, where things have just broken down to a point where they can no longer be in the same household. And young people who don't always have the independent skills that they need are left to defend themselves with the support of children's services. And it really is getting me thinking about family connection. How do we best build bridges when things break down? And even when you do have a whole heap of family around you, how is it that some people in those situations feel so lonely and isolated?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, when I was growing up, me and my brother used to not talk for a little while and stuff like that. But I just went inside my head. That was my little getaway inside my head. So I used to just daydream. I still daydream nowadays. I used to daydream a lot and stuff like that. But for some people, when if their family's there but not there, if that makes sense, they're there physically, but they're not there. They're not helping them out. They're not talking to them or anything. That can affect people a lot, which really isn't good. Loneliness inside a house full of people is not nice at all. Not nice at all. And we've all been there, you know. We've all been going through our teenage years and where we want our own space, but we can't have our own space. But then it feels like there's people in the house, but we're not getting along, rare tear. So especially in these times, we need to be just talking to each other, you know, because we can't go anywhere else. There's literally nowhere to go. There's no bars open. There's no restaurants open. Well, maybe now. There's no sports events. There's nothing to do, you know. So instead of thinking, this is bad, this is this, blah 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 blah, might as well just talk to each other, you know, play some games or just do something that you wouldn't normally do, you know. Play chess if you can play chess or something, you know, just with your family.
Learn something new.
Learn something new. That's the thing. Get into something. I think that's a big thing for young men and women, is to get into something. Get your mind really just thinking about something. For me, it's sports. You know, I've always been into sports. I've always been fascinated with the body and stuff like that. And nowadays, you can do so much. You know, with YouTube out there, you can just YouTube something, watch it, get into it, and there's so much to get into these days. You know. You could just Google anything you want, get into it, and then go from there. So, yeah, loneliness is hard. Loneliness is horrible. But yeah, I would encourage young men and women just to get into something, even if it's just reading or something like that. And don't be afraid to say no to people. That's another thing as well, because I think where sometimes where clashes at home is the parents will say to you, okay, don't hang around with so and so, don't go to this area, don't go and do that. And sometimes you don't really want to, you know, but if they're the kind of man then that you can't really say no to, you get kind of scared in that, you know, and they're kind of roadman and that or whatever, and then you feel like you're isolated because you don't really want to go with these men there, and you don't really want to stay at home and cause the tension in the house. So that's when you have to step up and say, look, I'm going to say no to them man there. I'm going to stay at my house. I'm going to read something. I'm just going to do something, and then just go from there, really.
But how realistic is that really for young men and women? Because from what I've seen, even with the hour of exercise, boy, that's turned into like 3 hours. In some cases, you know, because of certain groups of people that I work with, you know, they're looked after. So it's a case of, it's a call to the police because you ain't back. We don't know where you are. And so sometimes, you know, having the conversations personally, I think help. I have a 16-year-old son, and we have to do check-ins. I have to know where he's at in his mind, because a lot of the things that you talked about is about stimulating the mental capacity that we have, whether it's reading, sports, activities, but you're engaging your mind in something that you actually enjoy. And some people enjoy gaming, some people enjoy sports, some people enjoy lots and lots of different things. But as long as whatever you're doing is elevating you and not bringing you down into some lower moods, lower sadness, even
lower vibration.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are doing something that's positive, which is an activity that stimulates you, that gives you the energy, physically, mentally, allows you to feel more positive, engaging, and becoming more social. And even though now we've got the social distancing, it doesn't stop you from picking up the phone, sending a text. We do the Marco Polo, so we're always kind of linking video messages or FaceTime. There are lots of different ways that we can connect. I was telling you earlier, I messaged Auntie Alice and stuff, and when I'd messaged her, she was like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you as well," and she was sending me a message. So it's weird how sometimes you may have that thought about a family member or friend, and then all of a sudden you get that message. I really feel that the connection is important because it allows us to give and it allows us to receive something that could be a positive experience with those that we care and sometimes love. Do you know what I mean? Because
exactly.
Everyone in your family that you love. And I know it sounds terrible to say, but there were things like family disputes, like that for generations have gone on. The great-grandchildren don't even know what the dispute is about, but all they know is they don't know their family. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's gone down to generations.
Yeah, we've experienced this within our own family. And you know when it happens is when you turn up to a funeral. It's never the wedding, because the wedding list is picked. But a funeral, that's open for all.
That's open, you know that. So everyone has to come together.
Especially, I think for our culture, when we have funerals, we talk, we remember, we share stories, we hear things about the person that we never even knew happened. I want to ask you something. Did you know that your dad was scouted out to run for the UK?
Yeah.
When he was younger.
When he was younger. I only learned that after he died.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I learned that after he died too from...
Oh, really? Because I think because Granddad said no or something, didn't he?
I found that out from a friend, of a connection friend, but he's in like his 60s, which is the age group your dad would have been. So back in them days, they all went beach chill.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he didn't realise that was my uncle. So he was like, I know your uncle. He was the fastest runner in Luton and stuff. And when he said about how, but you know, something to do with his dad, and I was like, yeah, that's my uncle, that's my granddad. I said, that's my granddad. Putting a stop. No.
Yeah. He didn't have none of it.
But that's because, you know, if we think about the Windrush, right? The times when my granddad, your granddad came over, it weren't hard for Black people. And Black people wasn't very trusting of other cultures around. So when a white person comes knocking at your door saying that they want to take your son to have them run and for England, right? It would be a flat out no.
Nah. Yeah, of course. Because it's a generation thing.
People have been treated in when they're coming. And I see that situation in twofold. I see that my uncle could have had a fantastic opportunity. He could have been the Linford Christie.
Could have been.
But it would have been Burnett Thomas, right?
Yeah. You know that.
But that didn't happen, you know. But I can see the reasons behind why my granddad, our granddad, would have said a flat out no.
Yeah.
And it just shows that integration was challenging in your father's time. And I'm sure that you probably have had experiences from both sides of the family in regards to integrating, because sometimes, you know, when you're coming from a dual heritage background, sometimes the children don't feel very comfortable.
No.
Now, you know my daughter and you know her well. And she's saying that one of the things that we've never really talked about, and this is me, is about colorism. And I was like, I didn't see why I would have a conversation about colorism when it really didn't affect me, because I'm a Black woman, whatever, not have you. And I never really took much note to the different shades of it. And then my daughter was like, so she goes, you wouldn't, because you fall right bang in the middle. But for those that are darker skinned and those that are lighter skinned are having to, you know, defend their colour, their status of who. Have you experienced what I've just talked about?
Yeah, 100%. Because sometimes if I go see the black family, if we're messing around and that, they can call me a little white boy. And then if I go and see my white family, they can call me like I'm a black boy, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's colorism. I've never heard it say like that. But yeah, she said it bang on. She said it right bang on. Because sometimes you could feel like you don't identify with anyone. You know, you're not full black. Well, for me, I'm not full black. I'm not full white. You know, so where am I? What am I? You know, so but for me, I'm a kind of person. I'm a big head, you know. I've got a big ego, you know. So for me, I just think to myself, well, I'm a full human. That's how I think to myself, you know. So if somebody wants to say something bad for me being half white, then they're done to me. If someone wants to say something bad for being half black, then they're done to me at the same time, you know. But for some people, they go really inside themselves, and I think that's what happened to my brother as well. Because he tried to cut off his black side of the family because dad left and blah 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 blah, and then you're trying to find an identity that you can't associate with. You know, you are who you are. Your parents are who they are. You know, you can't just say, oh, I haven't got any black family, like what he did. You know, because then you get too angry inside.
But you know what? He's not the only one. I have to say that in terms of speaking from our family. And even what we're talking about, it could be some conversations in other people's families. I will say that. But I won't disclose the name because I haven't had their permission. But I will say this, that I did talk to one of my cousins, same like you, dual heritage. And at this time, we were in Jamaica. So we were exploring the black side of our family.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was the first time. And when my cousin's telling me that she's white, I'm like, no, hun, you ain't white.
No.
And she goes, yeah. But she said because she connected more with the white side of her family than she did with the black side, which I get because we don't meet that often, right?
No.
And any meeting that we would have had as a family, we were the kids. That was dependent on our parents. So now that we're the adults, what are we going to do differently to keep that family connection going? Not just with the stories, not just with the experience, but with the actual, how are you? You know what I mean? How are you doing? Because that's what touched the nerve with me when you had said to me, when your brother passed, it was some years later that you said no one in the family even talked to you to ask you what's what.
Nobody come and check me. But the only people that really ever check me is Dennis, you know, Dennis and Daniel and Nicole, and that's the thing. And you, obviously, your family. But yeah, even bad times like that, sometimes the family don't come together, which is crazy if you think about it. It's absolutely crazy.
And this is why, like, I'm keep mentioning the importance, because it was important. It was important to connect with you, a young man, at that time. And I said to you, I said, you know what? Maybe they didn't have the words to say, because at the time, you know, sometimes I still look at myself as a young person. Do you know what I mean? In terms of
you're young,
let the grown-ups.
You're looking good.
Things, do you know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, when we're going through our different stages of development, we get to places where we solely think about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we get to places where we can think about others and ourselves. Yeah. Some people just think about others and not themselves. Right?
Yeah.
So it's all different scenarios. And so I kind of thought other family members would have talked to you. So when we had that conversation that night, I was really taken back because I was like, boy, I really thought people would have seen how you were at that time, because obviously we were young and
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but it comes back to the both things that you're saying. That's what it comes back to. One, generation thing, because I'm my dad's son, you know. So the generation are there, the aunties and uncles and that. So they're not really thinking about me too much, because one, dad's already died. So dad is the link from me to his family, my family. And then the second one is obviously what we just said is, it sounds bad to say, is maybe a color situation again. You know, I'm living with my white mum. They've got divorced. So now it's kind of, I'm over here, you know, you understand, kind of thing. So I'm
Yeah.
over in that side now. They're not really thinking about me or anything like that. But obviously, it's crazy to say, you know, my brother killed himself. So I'm coming up to nearly the same age. I'm only 2 years younger. You think that they're saying, oh well, we have to go and check him now. You know, we didn't really check Jason that much, so now we have to go and see Adam now, more and more and more. But yeah, but it's not really, the link just isn't really there, which I hope the younger generation and our generation will do because of technology.
Well, this is what I'm hoping for, because say, you know, like this family trip that we had planned, which got cancelled. We are still going to be doing it, because I wanted my children to connect with your children, so that your
Yeah,
children, even though they're young, no, they got some bigger cousins. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You know,
yeah,
coming up, and sometimes when they're younger, you need the kind of the ones that are a step ahead of you. Do you know what I mean? Who
yeah,
maybe are gone through school or gone through high school, that when they're going through, they can encourage them. That the
yeah,
ones that go to university or college or whatever, or working, you know, that they help the younger ones, if
and
that
just
makes
talk.
sense. And that
Yeah.
they too, with their FaceTime and their WhatsApps, will create like what we've got now, a family group with the
Hmm.
cousins, where we can still keep in touch. We might send all kinds of different messages, but at least it's still a connection.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing.
And
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think it is. I think it
Yeah, it
is.
really is.
I feel
Because over here, Layla's only got two cousins, bless her, you know, because Ava's sister's got two kids. So Ava's got two older sisters. The oldest one hasn't had any kids, and one of them's got two. So if when we link up, you know, it's a family thing, but there's only like maybe 10 people max, eight to 10 people max. When for me, when I was younger, and if you go to a wedding or you go to somewhere like that, or even not even a wedding, if you just go to Uncle Johnny's house on a Sunday maybe, and then there could be all 20 people there. And you're like, that's my cousin, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. And my daughter Layla, she's so sociable. She would love it as well. That's the thing. So yeah, I need her to know that she's got this family if she ever wants them, if she needs them, you know, anytime that they're there.
and I think it is important for not just the young ones, for the ones that are going, you know, older, and even the elderly of our community, because it's going to turn back around, isn't it? Where we're going to
Yeah,
have to look after them. And even
exactly.
though everyone has kids, everyone needs support.
Yeah,
And I think that you should be able to get that support from your family. Like, I feel that you need to be held by your family, whether it's physically, whether it's about a text message, about a concern, spiritually, because you know you've got a
yeah,
family that go to church, innit? So
yeah,
sometimes you might need some prayers.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So to
We
raise you
might do.
up, you might need someone just to say, look, I'm feeling away. Can I just have a chat? Can you just listen? Don't want you to
Mm,
say nothing. I just need someone to listen to me. Do you know, sometimes you
yeah,
get situations like that, and you have a wonderful fiance, you've got your partner, and those should be those types of places where you should have that conversations. But then there are times where you might need to have that conversation with your mum, and
hmm,
you've got other siblings, you've got sisters, you've got brothers. You might have that conversation with them. But if we let things keep falling apart, it's like every time we meet, is it authentic? Is that
yeah.
authentic?
Or is it just small chat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, how you
And
doing? Brr, 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 yeah.
we need to get to the grassroots. We need to know
Yes.
where people stand. Everything
Yeah.
around seems so uncertain. So the one thing I'd like to be certain of is my family's
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
Like for my well-being. For don't turn up because I've just had an accident and nearly lost my life.
Nah.
You know what I
Nah.
mean?
We need to
Check
talk
in
more.
on me. Do I have
Yeah.
bread? Do
Yeah.
I have water? Are the children okay?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's about one way. But what about it being reciprocal? Why can't we look after each other? And I think this pandemic has given me a lot of time to think and assess. It's given me time to write, like I said,
Yeah.
about my mum and dad's stories. But then it makes me think about, what about my granddad? What about what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
There's still some things about family we don't know. And
No.
then
Well,
even
that's
at
why when you
our
come and
age,
check me in London, and we were talking about that, because there's so much questions I want to know about my own granddad, you know. Even can you even think about our granddad's dad? Like I've got no idea who he is, you know. Our granddad's granddad or something like that. That would be nice. But even someone like Uncle Johnny, I don't even know Uncle Johnny's real history. You know, I know he was living in Jamaica until he's what 21, I think. But that's all I know. You know, I don't know about how is if he had a wife before, if he's got more kids, you know, or anything. You know, just all this little bits and bobs. When he moved to Luton, what his job was. You know, I don't really know too much. And your mum as well, I don't know too much. Auntie Bev, her two daughters, I don't really know them at all, which is bad to say, you know, which I should do because they're also mixed race, you know. I should
I
really know them
know.
more.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I'm
we
not
need we
laughing
need
at
to
that,
get
but
something on the go.
it's just a real frank conversation with a
Yeah,
family member. And, you know, because I do a parenting channel, we help to, you know, help parents, you know, empower them, you know, for healthier lifestyles, healthy relationships. And sometimes when you're doing these things, it makes you assess your own. Yes, I have me and my kids, and yeah, we're working on it, but there's a bigger part to that. And if I'm
mm,
not functioning in those areas or of any use, am I connected?
yeah,
This is where I'm kind of bringing my thoughts to,
hmm,
because we are phase two in this pandemic. And I said to some young people yesterday, in my thoughts, from what I'm seeing, it is as though the first one,
mm,
it was. But this one, the behaviors are worse.
yeah,
The things I'm seeing are worse. The way how people are carrying on is worse. To the point, some people probably did need a slap down. Even today, this woman, the way she was carrying on, I just said, don't bother. I didn't even say nothing because I said to myself, Ruth, don't bother. Because I
mm.
knew from my start, that's my blood pressure up, because I've got to get to that point just to cuss. And it
What's she
just
doing?
wasn't
Winding
worth
you
it.
up?
It wasn't worth it. And then are people keeping in touch with their families? Like my mum and dad, as you know, in Dominica, it's like, what do you need? Because we
Yeah,
can't get there. So
no,
it's about getting parcels and sending things on what they need. That's being connected. I contacted Auntie Laura, how are you? How's the family? Just to ask the question. I might not be always ringing, because sometimes you could make a call and you could be on the phone for hours.
hours. Yeah,
Because it's like it's been so long since you've seen them, and there's so much to catch up on. Even for
yeah,
me and you, there's still so much. There's conversations we still haven't had that we need
no,
to have had like a year ago.
yeah, you know that. There's loads to catch up on, you know. And we need to catch up, me and you. We all need to catch up. That's the thing. All the different families need to link up and catch up. But I think we need to get it on the go now, really, because texting is nice. Texting shows that you care, you know. Texting, you can just text someone saying, "Yo, I'm thinking about you," and that's it, you know. But then you have to take it to the next level, just like what you said a minute ago. So when we do link up, that we know each other, you know. It's not just, oh, who's that again? Or who's that again? You know what I mean? Oh, what's your son's name again? You know, all that rubbish, you know. We don't want to. I don't want to be on that level no more.
Yeah, this is it. So we want to be more connected. We don't want to be guessing what's what with the family. We want to know who we are. Because not saying, because like I've got some great friends and I love them dearly. They're like sisters to me. And it's like that is more of a stronger connection than with the family, if that makes sense.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something in me that's saying that don't seem too right.
Nah, it's not right.
Saying that don't seem too right. It's good because you know how to have that kind of deep connection, but something in me saying that don't seem too right. It's like this is your bloodline.
Yeah.
These are the people that you hold traditions and cultures and lifestyles or concepts or ideologies or something. Yeah. I think for us, we need to give tribute to our ancestors.
100%.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something in their DNA that we have that is keeping us going, even as a family, we've been through hard times.
Yeah. Hard times.
It's been to a point where in other situations, it would have been unbearable.
Yeah.
But because we did have that family that were there, like holding us up.
Yeah.
Because we were just together. We may not have been able to say something, but we were there.
You felt it.
You felt something in your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel that this is disappearing within our existence because we're not as connected as we're supposed to be.
Yeah, 100%. You said you said it bang on. And that's what I was thinking the other day as well, because when Auntie Millie passes, or the elders, we call them, the aunties and the uncles, when they start passing, whose house are we going to go to for Christmas? Whose house are we going to go to for just to meet up, because everybody goes around to see Auntie Millie, or something like that. So if we're all separated, so where are we going to go then? We need to get it going now. We need to get everyone fused together now. So if anything, so when I do come to England, I could just come round, ring someone up, and boom, come round to you, come round to see Dennis, come round to see, and then we all could just ring each other up, boom, and we'll meet at the same one place, But I feel like that kind of flow, that kind of connection is just not there yet, but we need to get it there quick.
We do. Because, like, I was very close to your dad. Like, your dad, he was my uncle, but he was like a brother, like a real big brother. Because I could get away with things with Uncle Burnett. Like, I remember I had a party and I invited him so that he could manage the situation.
Okay.
And he was all right. It was on point. Do you know what I mean? Make sure everything was all right.
He's always nice like that.
Your dad was good. Like, when I had my daughter, like, he lived in Wellingborough, I'd leave Luton, go up to Wellingborough, spend some time with him, leave my daughter, go to London, have fun, come back, pick her up, come back home. My mum be like, how was Uncle Bernard? I said, you should ring him, you should call him and find out how he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, easy as that.
This was years ago. This was when, like, Levon and Lavar were babies. And that. So when he got married again, I don't know if you remember, I looked after all the kids when they went on the honeymoon.
Oh, on the honeymoon, yeah.
And I'm sure you came over as well.
Yeah, I was there as well, yeah. I was there. It was Levon, Lavar, me and Jason, I think. We're all there.
Yeah.
Running round.
And that's it. So can you see that connection where he's my uncle, I'm his niece. Yeah. And you can use your family to really hold you in certain times, not just for babysitting, but for conversations that are just as serious. Do you know what I mean?
For everything. That's the thing.
Are on the brink, because when your brother passed, before your brother passed, I spoke to Matt, your father's funeral. I could see he was in a bad place.
Yeah.
But he wasn't in that place to open up.
No. Because he closed himself off for so long as well. That's the thing, which is tough.
Sometimes our tact, our approach ain't always the best. And telling someone to fix up is the last thing anyone wants to hear. But I could see then But you know what? Like I said to you, it's because of your brother how I ended up working in the schools in the way that I worked.
Yeah, he
Because
said, yeah.
he lost his life, and then I'm going into schools and I'm starting to see all these kids that are suicidal and
Yeah.
self-harming and all this
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I've been like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, what's
And
going on?
and I realized, God, this is happening in so many families. Like, there's so many young people.
Yeah.
And I think there are high amounts of boys. It is girls as well. But
100%.
they're
Oh, yeah.
in their rooms and they're sad and they're lonely and they feel they got no one to talk to, and that no one cares.
Yeah.
And I think if one thing we can do within our family connection is to show care.
Yeah, show care. Because there's so many family members, you're bound to link one-on-one with someone. That's the thing. Even if you got a beef with your dad, even if you got a beef with your mum, if you just go link your cousins and just go and see them, you know, if we did see our cousins more and more and more, I'm sure that Jason would probably link up with one of them, you know, on a I don't know, computer level, you know, playing computer games together or something, you know, reading books together. You like drawing, so there's probably a cousin out there that likes drawing, you know. So if that connection was there, you probably link up with someone. So when you're feeling down, you just bring them up or text them or whatever, you know. But if you don't know, then you don't know. That's the thing.
So I think we need to be on the lookout still. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? For our little ones coming up. Because like I said, I've got a teenage son.
Yeah.
And I have to sit and have chats with him. And you know what? Sometimes he cries. He falls into my shoulder and he cries. And I allow him to.
Yeah.
And let it out. And let it express. Stop telling the boys to fix up and whatever not of you.
Yeah.
This ain't working.
Yeah.
If they need to cry, let them cry. They need to scream, let them scream until they're able to handle and manage their emotions in the appropriate way. Because if they can't find the words to say, hello, it's just the behavior you're going to be seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I think, like, my mind just went on. You know, we've got peer groups, we've got mentoring, we've got all these services. Is that what the family should be doing?
Yes, 100%.
Should the family be mentoring up the young men and the young women? Should
of course.
The peer groups from the cousins and those connections? Because, you know, sometimes you can have a cousin like your best friend.
Yeah.
Should these be the peer groups that should be sought after or encouraged more? So that they've got some certainty of knowing who the people that they're mixing with.
It takes two people to make a child.
I say that, you know, you've got to be a good family, because, not being funny, right? My mind just went elsewhere. There's some families that are bad and shouldn't have no pick me round them.
No, yeah, you know.
Of course. What I'm saying? So when I say what I say it with that in the back of my mind, because some parents shouldn't have their children around them because they're a danger to them. But for those of you that are coming from a loving place, a peaceful place, a nurturing place, an encouraging place, that want to see your seed grow and nurture into citizens, global citizens of the world, your family, then I think, it should be there. Instead of it breaking down, we should be building it up.
Yeah, should be lifting people up. That's what the family should be doing. It should be lifting people up. Even if you're not even feeling down, lift them up and say, congratulations, well done, you've done this, well done to that, well done to that. Yeah, we should just all be lifting each other up now. And that's the family's job. I do believe that is a family's job, because I believe it's my job to do it as a father to my kids, you know, to lift them up. So if I need lifting up, you know, my mum can do it, my fiance can do it, or you can do it. Anyone can do it in the family. Just lift each other up.
Even your own children would do it, because if you teach them and practice them, they will. Because one of the things when it was like, you know, all the GCSEs kind of flopped here and that, and I was concerned about my son again. And when he did get his results, one of the things he had said to me was, he goes, Mum, he was very encouraging and stuff. Now, he plays computer games and all that. And I do discuss a little bit about the time spent and stuff, balance everything out, but the young man got the 9s.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, like, is that to prove me wrong? Like, it didn't have an impact? Because I kept saying, have less time on that. But he does read. He does read and does other things. And sometimes as parents, we make assumptions that just because your child is in their bed, that they're not doing the things that they need to be doing. If we encourage them, they will start to care about themselves, and they'll start to put themselves forward for the things that are important to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Positive thinking. That's the thing. Give them positive thinking, give them encouragement, give them confidence, which is a big, big thing these days. Confidence is such a big thing, because some young men and women, they're looking too far ahead and they're thinking about mortgage, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they can't see a way getting there, But if you just tell them, look, it's baby steps. You take a little baby step to here, you take a little baby step to there, and they need the confidence to walk on them steps to get to their final goal. Set yourself a goal and just achieve it, and just give them motivation along the way, confidence along the way.
So Adam, I'm gonna wrap it up, because like I only kind of do this for a short period of time, but
we've been blabbing on.
We've had has been one for each of us, very insightful, very true, very authentic. I'll put a disclaimer out now to any family members that have objected to anything that we may have said. Please note that it is from our perspectives and our own personal experiences. So please do not be offended. This is about a learning tool, a learning platform, not for just ourselves, but for others around. There are people that are going through some real difficult things. We've talked about suicide briefly. We've talked about death of parents. These are things that can tip people's mental health one way or another. We know this firsthand. And what we're saying is, for this discussion, and I'm not dismissing any other practices like going to your GP, seeking counselling or therapy or anything like that. Please do all those things that need to be done. This discussion is about the importance of family connections. And can it be that some of the things could be done right at the grassroots levels before the GP or any other person needs to get involved? Could it be such as us, showing care, showing love, showing concern, asking the question, seeing it and asking and not ignoring. And even when we don't have the words, let's be present and be physically there so that we can support one another through these times. Because as you're saying, you're living your life, you're going through, you're reaching milestones that were similar to your brother because of the age gap. And in those times, I'm here to support you. And I can see like my brothers are on here. And I'm sure if I say this now, they'll support you. Yeah. We'll support your family. And I know you'll support mine because you've helped me out more than enough times. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But together, let's make an effort. Let's make a commitment to connect. Yeah. Yeah. Really connect. I'm saying that to anyone else out there who is feeling a bit isolated from their families, especially during this time. And we've got Christmas coming up, and it's not the easiest time for people. Sometimes it's very sad times. But if you don't have any family, because some people don't, this is when what I was saying earlier about those friends that feel like sisters and brothers, have that as a support and use that as an experience. So that is it for me today. I do hope that you've enjoyed this conversation. Adam, I will be having you back because we need to talk about the fitness. Yes, next time. Next time. So, you know, we need to talk about the fitness because as I showed you, like Judy Keller, I had her on the show in September, and we covered a lot about nutrition.
Yeah.
And one of the things when we're dealing with health, well-being, mental health and stuff like this, it's a combination. Fitness helps,
100%.
a good diet helps, you know, having
Moving.
positive connections helps. There's a lot of things that can help. So Adam and I, we do have some ideas in the pipeline of putting something out to address mental health for young men. And it is within the review point of what his brother experienced of taking his own life. It has impacted both of us in different ways, where we're in a position where we want to help. We want to help others, especially the young men who feel, just like Jason did, that he was isolated, that he didn't have anyone to talk to, no connections, and things just spiraled out of control. And sometimes, you know, I have clients that I coach who have like mental health disorders on top of what they're feeling and experiencing. And it is always good to have joint working, like with, you know, psychiatrists, psychologists and things like that, because some of those patients need that help and support because of what they're going through. Don't think we should dismiss anything, but I think we should be open to change to get better.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm out. Mwah. So thank you, everyone. You know, we're going to just, you know, wish and pray God's blessing over each and every viewer, anyone that hears this, anything that may have come up, please leave a comment. We will respond. And we just hope that you can face life in a more positive and brighter way with a good outlook. So God bless you all. Thank you so much, Adam.
Love.
If you wait for me in the waiting room, I will catch up with you. I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone quickly. Thank you so much, my lovely. So that's it. We are going to be going into another weekend in a few more days. We are coming out of the lockdown. I've enjoyed this conversation with my cousin today, and I hope you have too. But yes, I'm praying right now. I'm praying for each and every one of you, because I know things are really hard and really tough. And it's not just the dark nights. There's something more going on, it seems, in the world today, because even me, I'm feeling a bit low. I've got my, where is it here? My water, my crystal water. It's like I can't drink because it's like levels are going down. So everyone, just be mindful. Check in with yourself. If you do need help from your GP on any of the matters that we may have touched on, regards to suicide, please seek help now. I'm Ruth Carter, the Liberty Coach. God bless you.